I'm Hal DeKeyser, and this is Josh Holmes, and we're Josh and Hal on Vegas Housing. Today we're sitting at an open house, and we're going to answer a question from a visitor that we had who was wondering about whether it was a good idea to get a rent-to-own residence. What do you think about that, Josh?
Well, I don't ever suggest anybody does a lease-to-own. In my opinion, they're just not set up for the buyer to win, and they are set up for the investor to win.
So what happens frequently when you're doing a rent-to-own, you're really doing a rent option. You are saying at some time in the future I might want to buy this house, and often it comes with a condition that you pay extra on the rent, and that money you pay extra on the rent will apply towards the down payment. It rarely works out that way, however.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're paying all this extra money for rent, and again, it's not set up for the buyer, it's set up for the investor. Now, you're late one time, generally they can cancel the contract. Now they've kept all that extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So the buyer's out that money, and the thing is your credit profile and your the way you handle your finances is what got you in that position in the first place.
To require that you have a rent-to-own so that you could someday own a property.
Correct. So with that said, generally people looking for lease-to-own, they don't have a great payment history.
Right. Or they buy a house.
Yeah, or they buy a house without it.
Yeah, without it. So here's what often happens with the rent-to-own is somebody is thinking they're getting into a house, and they're at a time certain in the future, somewhere a year or 2 years down the road, the money they're paying extra will apply towards their down payment. But as Josh says, that rarely happens. And if it does happen, really what you are is you are stuck buying that house because that's the money you've put down for it. So you've eliminated every other house that you might want to buy from consideration. And also, if you don't have it set in the contract, I'm going to spend this amount of money at this point, and this is going to apply to that, that's hard and fast, then you really don't have much of anything.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm with you. I would say I would not recommend a rent-to-own. The only time I think it might work out for someone, and this is rare, is if you have all those things I'm talking about, and you get a price locked into the deal that says in 2 years or whenever your time is up, that's going to be the price, and there's not going to be any negotiating, and it's hard and fast. But that rarely is the case.
Right. And just, again, it's my opinion you're always going to overpay for the home. And that's just by virtue of waiting that specified amount of time that you agreed upon in the contract. That home is going to be worth more 2 years from now than it is today. So if you bought it today, you're going to save all that appreciation just by not waiting. So in my opinion, you get your credit right, you get good payment history established, and you just buy a home when you can afford it.
Yeah. One final thing too that I've seen in people that wind up doing this is that they'll spend their time in a home thinking it's going to be their home and make some improvements on it, actually spend some money on it, and then they lose all that, and then they're mad. So the whole experience is. So I guess if you want to rent a house on a rent-to-buy basis, Josh and Hal say 2 thumbs down.
Yep, that's a fact.
All right, thank you.